While the president and the governor argued, the riot worsened. Finally, Katzenbach asked the White House for troops. It took hours for them to arrive, and during the night, 35 marshals were shot, and 2 people, a French journalist and an Oxford worker, were killed. But by dawn, the army had restored order.
Of course the president's going to win in the end. He's got the whole armed forces of the United States. He can call in the Air Force. He can bring Navy ships up the Mississippi River. He can call out the Army as he did. He can drop parachuters in. I suppose he could shoot missiles at Oxford, Mississippi. So he's going to win at the end.
I recall driving to the campus, and I guess when I got to the circle was when I really saw the impact of the riot the previous evening. I reported to my office. As I recall it, there weren't very many of the staff there. Many of them were too afraid to come to the campus on Monday. And later, James Meredith came to my private office, and I accommodated the registration there.
It wasn't a cause for laughter and champagne, but it was a cause for some relief, and it was the fact that was over with. I mean, in a way, Oxford had become the symbol of massive resistance and the final gasp of the Civil War, if you want to look at it that way. And it was over. It had ended.
Sir, there's been a great deal of turmoil and conflict. 2 people have been killed. Do you have any feelings of guilt? Have you given that any second thoughts?
I'm very sorry that anyone had to get hurt or killed. But of course, I think that's an unfair question to me. I don't believe any of you believe that I had anything to do with that.
How are you getting along in school, sir?
Just fine, just fine.
How are the students that have been talking to? Has there been any reaction?
No, just acting like students, I suppose.
Is this a kind of a lonely life for you, despite all these people around you?
I've been living a lonely life a long time.
It was a lonely victory for James Meredith, but it was a victory for him and the country. The Constitution had held and been reaffirmed in a major crisis.
Senator Goldwater, we have another question here from some of our listeners. You voted against the Civil Rights Act in 1964. Would you do so today, and what is your position now on the proposed Voting Rights Act?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, if the same two items remained in the bill that caused me to think it unconstitutional at that time remained in any bill today, I would have to vote against it. This isn't something, by the way, that you make a determination on from the standpoint of politics. I have no question that had I voted for that bill, I might have softened some of the Negro opposition to my candidacy, but I'm not foolish enough to think that I would have won over the NAACP. I have to live with myself, and I took an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
But I believe that when a man is exercising extremism, a human being is exercising extremism in defense of liberty for human beings, it's no vice.
I remind you also that moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue.
And when one is moderate in the pursuit of justice, for human beings. I say he's a sinner.
Greenville, South Carolina. In this church, whose pastor is J.S. Hall, a group protests the treatment accorded Jackie Robinson at the local airport. Local NAACP President A.J. Wittenberg describes the incident.
The manager of this airport told them that this was not the waiting room for Negroes, that the one around at the back at the side. Mr. Robinson came and told them that he was an interstate passenger, that surrogation was unlawful. Then he summoned the policeman and told the policeman, if these Negroes sit down, arrest them. Mr. Robinson said to this manager, that if I sit down, will you really arrest me and I'm an interstate passenger? He really said yes. He said, you a Negro, aren't you?
Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children.
They are marching on the airport.
Walk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Going to mold and never tire. Mold and never tire.
Words of protest are read there as a group remains outside